So just for you guys watching back on the like on the webinar, on the recording, I was just saying to the guys on the call that what the aim of this call is is to sort of obviously have a recap of ELIMIN8, talk through all the things that you should probably have in place by now, but also it is an opportunity for us to talk about training progressions and things like that. We spoke a little bit on it last week's call of like what to do next and things like that. But this week's a little bit more in depth as to what that can actually look like in terms of training and putting workouts together. Because I know some people post ELIMIN8 will want to sort of carry on by themselves, and like I said, the way I like to coach is I want people to be able to do things, get results, and then be able to carry that on by themselves. That's what I promote during ELIMIN8. So a lot of you are coming into sort of the one-to-one coaching side. A lot of you I've spoken to and want to give it a go by yourselves. My job is to leave you in the best position to be able to do it either way. And the more knowledge you have, the easier it does become if you coach with me. And also, if I've gave you absolutely everything, if you ever did struggle on your own, okay, maybe it isn't knowledge, it is maybe accountability or reassurance that it's required. And I've got a lot of people that have trialed everything and things like that. So I'm not here to sort of keep secrets. That's not my goal as a coach. My sort of ethos is almost the opposite. It's give you everything you need, see how you get on, and then the more knowledge you have, the easier coaching you becomes, which in turn allows me to take on more clients and things like that. So without further ado, we'll get into tonight's call. Can everybody see my screen? Let me present this, present full screen, and then go present. Everyone can see the call. ELIMIN8 week 7 done. Yeah. Just as I'm going through the first sort of couple of slides, if you just write in the chat what you've been doing, e.g. 3-day gym workouts, 4-day gym workouts, home workouts. Sarah, I know you're on the call and you've done no workouts, but you've been stepped, but you're doing incredible. So let's not worry too much about that. But just in the chat, if everyone can just write down what they've been doing so far, and then it will give me a good indication to get the induction started. So before we go into today's topic, everyone should now have a good understanding of sort of structure and routine. So first things, like I always say, and we always say like first things, but there's a lot of things you sort of need in place first, but it's almost understanding your sort of why. Like, why did you join ELIMIN8? Why did you want to lose weight? What's your bigger goal? That thing will constantly change. You will always have an indication of like, I just want to lose weight so I feel good for summer. Then like you'll see a lot of people have started putting in their comments, they've noticed that fitness, which has now enabled them to sort of play with their kids, be more present with like partners. They've started running and they're just feeling a little bit better. All these things come hand in hand. And I get quite often like clients come in and I'm like, what's your initial goal? And a lot of people sort of say, oh, my health and fitness and things like that. Or I'll get sort of the younger clients come in and say, don't really care about my health and fitness. I just want a skinny waist and a big bum. But the things required to be able to do that all come hand in hand. You need to eat better. You need to be more active. Your cardiovascular needs to be better. So it's thinking about that why. Whatever it may be, the principles come down to the same thing. We've all noticed that everyone on ELIMIN8's got different goals, different whys. All, as you can see in the chat, everyone's doing different sort of workouts. Some people are doing cardio, some people aren't. But the principles become the same. So once we understand our why, we now can then start reversing these things back. Have a set date. We didn't really talk about set dates on ELIMIN8 because the date was set as 8 weeks. But you can see the end goal in sight. So, for example, if you were like, I want to lose, I'm going to use rounded numbers here, 8 kg in 8 weeks, you can start being realistic because now we know weight should be lost at like 0.5 to 1% of your body weight. ELIMIN8 is a little bit more aggressive and a little bit quicker. But then you can start thinking, okay, right, is a kilo a week 0.5 to 1% of my body weight? If it is, cool. No, we can start. Then you can make your goals realistic, and then you can set that time frame to even further, or you set your amount you want to lose before that holiday or that date a little bit more realistic. And that then comes down to your ideal week, first and foremost. So, for example, the people doing like the 3-day gym workouts probably couldn't do 4 at the time when they signed up to ELIMIN8, so they've done 4. The guys that are doing 4 probably looked at their weeks and thought, you know what, I have time to do it. I work in an office, the gym's across the road. I can get in Monday to Friday. I give myself one day of a little bit of flexibility. You guys that have got kids realistically think it's not possible to get to the gym, or I can only get to the gym on these days where other halves are picking up or grandparents are picking up to allow me to go to the gym. So that's why that's important. And we do something very, very similar with the nutrition. Is like, right, what helps me? Am I a snacker? Do I prefer bigger meals? Am I having breakfast, lunch, dinner? Am I having breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks? I find myself often hungry between lunch and dinner, so let's make sure one of my snacks are implemented there. And then you can also break that down further into protein. So if you're aiming for 100 grams of protein a day, for example, you're having 5 meals, just aiming for in and around 20 grams of protein per meal. If you're having just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you need a good hit of protein in each meal. So you'll be aiming for sort of 30 to 35 grams of protein per meal. And then you start looking at all them options. And that's probably about as much as you need to do to have you settled. And they're the things that you should have in place by now on ELIMIN8, which you will take forward with you. If you keep them things to somewhat relatively straightforward and have your sort of simple, similar days and times that you train, just similar sort of meals that you sort of know work well, then you can amend things. So, for example, if you normally have a stir fry for dinner and then you're going out and you've decided you're getting like a burger and chips or something, you know that's not like for like, so you need to make some changes in the day in order to make it fit, or obviously use your refeed day. And understanding that like it's cool to have refeed days, it's cool to have a day at maintenance. You will go over your calories sometime. You're not going to make everything fit day on day, but if you consistently make progress over time, you will continue to move in the right direction. Which brings me on to obviously week 9 and 10. Please, 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 unless you've spoken to me personally, bring yourself up to at least week 9 calories. If you're still panicking at taking a week or 2 at maintenance, then do message me. Message me personally, book in your call. I think I've had most of the calls now. I think Fran, I know you're on the call. We'll catch up separately. I've just seen your message there. But everyone else, I think, who's booked in a call, I've had the call. You guys that are signing up to the one-to-one coaching, you'll start to see things in your folders. But for you guys who are giving it a go by yourself, I'm more than happy for you to do this, obviously. But go in, make sure you take at least week 9 calories, see how you get on, trial week 10. And then if you need to continue to lose weight, you can make adjustments from there. Or if it's not going in the right direction, reach out and message me. Everyone sort of cool with that. Everyone happy with where they're at for the time being and know what they need to do next. Anyone sort of unsure of where they're actually at and what to do next in terms of like, they know they need to come up to week 9 calories, but they're apprehensive. They want to give it another week or 2. They're unsure whether to like what workouts to do, anything like that. Anyone before I go any further? No, all is good. Apologies if my voice goes a little bit today. I've got hay fever and it seems to be killing the back of my throat. So, which brings me quite nicely on to sort of how often should I work out? How long should I work out for? What training split should I do? What exercises can I do to reduce belly fat? Should I do high rep, low weight, or any weight? Or sort of like high weight and low rep? Again, how often should you work out? That's where that ideal work comes out. You work out as much as best suits your routine. For the first time in my life, I'm dropping my workouts from like a 4-day or a 5-day weight training split to a 3-day. So I've started doing a little bit of the high rocks training, which is sort of like a cardio based training. But if I tried to do 4 weight training on top of 2 high rocks, my body just wouldn't recover. So I can still do the 5 days of training. It's just I'm just doing it, splitting it a little bit different. But for the first time ever, I've dropped it down to 3 days. So it's what comes in and what suits your ideal week for both time, recovery, performance, energy levels, etc., etc. How long should you work out for? Again, it's all subjective to the time you have. Anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and 15 is probably normal, probably average. If you're training for an hour and 15 plus, you're probably on the longer side of things. You don't need to train much more than that. If you're training sort of half an hour to 45 minutes, you're probably on the short end of things with probably the likelihood is you're doing a few more supersets or home workouts or HIIT sort of style training. But 45 minutes to an hour seems to be what I find best suits everyone. So that's a good sort of marker to keep. What training split should you do? We'll cover this in the next slides. Anyone in the chat know what exercises best reduce belly fat? Go on, stick it in the chat. Everyone's all quiet tonight. Last call of ELIMIN8. Come on, someone be brave. Someone put in the chat. Is there any exercises that spot reduce belly fat? None. Can't spot target fat, incline walking. Calorie deficit is the thing that spot reduces body fat. Fran, I'm going to pick on you here. Fran's messaged me a couple of weeks ago saying, I really want to target my lower abs. My weight, I'm losing weight. I'm happy that it's coming down, but I want to target that bum tum, as she called it. And I just said to her, look, there's nothing you can do. Stick to your calorie deficit and you will get tighter and tighter. And Fran, you look absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure you'll agree. We haven't done anything
different. Thank you.
And you're starting to see that area that you were thinking you need to do specific exercises for tighten up without doing anything different.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Logan.
No, you're doing, and that's it. And like, you can't spot reduce it. I do sit on the fence with when people say, oh, but I want a tighter core or I want like more muscles in my chest or my shoulders. You can work them areas a little bit more. So like, for example, if you get yourself quite lean and you're under muscled in your core area or you don't have a big enough chest or shoulders, if you work on them areas and you want to do extra work on them areas, it will help. It won't spot reduce body fat, but you can make yourself hold more muscle in them areas. So you will see during the ELIMIN8 workouts, there's not a lot of core workouts because most people have a core from playing sport when they're younger, etc., etc. It's very rare I will add sort of extra core work in for clients, but if they are under muscled in that area, we've stripped them down in terms of body fat, and they still don't see their definition, we will add in core work. So it's not always a bad thing to do, but I would sort of say it's not necessary to train abs. I don't train abs, but if I did have the time, I would do, and these are the only 3 exercises I would ever do for my abs, would be cable crunches, leg raises, and weighted decline sit-ups. They're the only 3 exercises I would do for my abs. Training your core is different. Training like farmers carries, kettlebell around the world, etc., etc. They're good for your training your actual trunk and getting yourself stronger. But again, they're a conversation for a different time. I lift and shift all day, carrying weights back and forth. So I'm basically doing farmers carries and things like that. So that's why I don't train core as much. But if I had the time, I would definitely do cable crunches, leg raises, and weighted decline sit-ups, whether I had abs or not. So what do people think is better for fat loss? High rep, low weight, or high weight, low rep? A being high rep, low weight, B being high weight, low rep, C being neither. Which one's better for fat loss? A, B, or C? High rep, low weight, high weight, low rep. C being neither. Christy's going with C. Anyone else getting involved? There's no right or wrong here. It's what people think. Yeah, both are good. Neither, whatever the answer may be. It tends to be that when you are on a diet, you do tend to stay away from the sort of 1 rep max area. You do step away from strength, mainly due to sort of injury and fatigue. But that doesn't mean it high weight, low rep doesn't have a place. You just wouldn't sort of go down to the rep range of like 1 to 5, because technically on a diet, your energy levels are coming down. So why would you start trying to lift heavier in terms of weight? You're more likely to cause yourself an injury because you're not getting the sort of food to recover as well from it. So that's probably where the high rep, low weight concept comes in for toning when you're lean. But the idea is you have a little bit of both in there. And when you're sort of gaining muscle, you will push things a little bit higher weight, lower rep. When you're cutting, you will sort of go a little bit more higher rep, lower weight to get more volume in, but not to the extremes of every single exercise should be 15 to 20 reps because you're cutting. You still add some form of strength in there. I'll skip the questions for now because we'll cover most of it. And then if anyone's got any questions going forward, just let me know. So training principles. This is just a bit of sort of geeky stuff as a coach, but some of you guys may be interested in this. So when you're this sort of topic today is to help people sort of prevent overthinking and prevent sort of overwhelm when they see training plans. Am I doing enough? Am I doing too much? Etc. Etc. So training principles is you aim for 12 to 18 sets per muscle group per week. You want to split the frequency, e.g. 9 sets per session. So if you think on ELIMIN8, a lot of your exercises are 3 sets. So that's 4 to 6 exercises per muscle group. You want to split the frequency over 2 sessions or 3 sessions. So you may do, if you've got 6 back exercises, you may do 3 on one day, 3 on another. You may do 4 back exercises in one day, 2 on another. That's basically what it is. You're just splitting the frequency. You want to start your workouts with the compound movement. So you want to start with the exercises that use multiple muscle groups. This is like your squats, your lunges, your bench presses, etc., etc. There are sometimes exceptions to this. For example, if you want to what's called pre-exhaust the muscle, so you say, for example, you reach your limit on a squat, you can't go heavier. What you may do is you may do leg extension first, so you're going into that squat a little bit more tired, and you're getting more output out of the same weight because it becomes harder because you've pre-exhausted the muscle. But that's sort of like elite level training, bodybuilding. Unless you sort of go into coaching with me, you probably rarely see someone talk about that sort of stuff. That sort of top level training. But it just, the reason I'm putting these things in there is to show you there's a whole nother world of training and exercises and workouts and things like that. So it's to show you the bare minimum and what's also achieved, and you can sit anywhere in that line. If you were to focus on eliminate 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 9, 3 sets of 10, week 1 pick a weight, week 2 up the weight, week 3 up the rep, week 4 up the rep, and just repeat that, you're going to see results, as most of you have done. Where we start going into the deeper stuff, which we'll come on to on the next slide, is when you sort of reach your limit and you want to start getting further progression out of it, and you need to find ways to overload the muscles that they're not used to. So, but I'll cover it just to make sure like you're happy with it, it makes sense, and we'll go from there. So 6 to 8 exercises to be a decent amount per session, but that's not 6 to 8 exercises per body part. That's 6 to 8 exercises in total. So say, for example, you were doing a push day. That could be 3 chest, 2 shoulders, 2 triceps. What's that? 7 exercises. That's a good day. So even though you're thinking, right, shoulders, I've got shoulder press, I've got side lateral raise, I've got Arnold press, I've got front raise. Two exercises that day, and you can do your 2 other exercises on another day. That'll be 4 exercises in total. 3 sets, you're hitting your minimum 12. If your shoulders were an area you wanted to grow more or focus on more, you may go up towards 18 sets. So if you girls doing the 4-day gym plan, you'll see there's more exercises on glutes, because 95% of girls that come to me say, I want to grow my glutes, and that's why there is extra glute days. It's crazy how society changes. Some of the how more mature ladies on the call will probably say the last thing they ever wanted in life was a big bum. It was like, who wants a big bum? No one wants a big bum. Now all the girls, the younger girls these days, say, all I want is a skinny waist and a big bum. Society changes everything. Like the Kardashians obviously brought in the big bum and things like that. For men, it tends to be pretty straightforward. I just want some abs, chest and shoulders, all the beach weights. Girls, it tends to change. It will swing back around where people don't want to grow big bums. It will change over time. It'll be like, the next thing will be like, I want a nice back. It's just social media and society. One of the main things we want to do is we want to train with intensity. You can't train every single day. That's why I don't put 5 and 6 day workouts in. I actually had a client today ask me for a 6-day training program, and I just said to him it'd be better doing 5. I know he's dying to train every day, but I said to him, if he trains properly with the right amount of volume, he will need them rest days. And then when we had the conversation, he completely agreed. So you want to train with intensity. This is your reps in reserve, your 4 reps down to 0. So you start with like 4 reps in reserve, then 3, then 2, then 1. And you do that, the intensity becomes more by either up in the weight or the reps. After 4, right, we're back in the game. Apologies for that. I did say it would probably cut out today. Maybe I'll leave that door open just so it doesn't. You can all hear me and you can all see the screen, yeah? Damo, just give me a nod. I can see your face. Yeah. So where did it get up to? Did I say about training with intensity? Did I start on that? Paco, you're on my screen. Nod. Yeah. You're looking really lean in your face as well, Paco. It's starting to come in. Look, it's looking good. It's the first time I've seen you without the photos. It's coming in really well.
I shaved, to be fair. So
you've got diet face, mate. The cheekbones are coming in, the dimples are coming out. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see diet face. I like it. So yeah, you start training with intensity. So you start with like 4 reps in reserve down to 1, 0, and you either do that by up in the weight or the reps. Your recovery time, so you see rest time. There's no magic in it. The idea of rest time is you rest 2 to 4 minutes between sets. So that's like, the whole point of it is that you can lift the same weight for the same intensity, for the same amount of reps. So if you've just done 3 sets of 8 with the 20 kgs on shoulder press, and then you go to do it again and you get 5 reps, you've not rested long enough. So the idea is that you can lift it. On your 3rd and final set, yes, it will get a little bit tougher because you've already done 2 rounds, but you shouldn't be getting 8, 8, and then 2. You should be getting like 8, 8, and then like when you get towards the end, that 3rd and final set is starting to get tough. I'm in that reps in reserve for. So that's what basically intensity means. It's not about doing 100 burpees in a minute and sweating your bollocks off. It's about your body working hard, and that's it. If you are short on time, you can add in supersets. So you'll see, like, I often superset either opposing muscles. So for example, leg extension and hamstring curls. Or if we go deeper into training, I may do supersets on the same muscle to fatigue the muscle a little bit quicker. So for example, you may do bicep curls supersetted with hammer curls. There's no magic in it. Supersets is just to shorten down the time of the session, because there's an argument and a caveat for everything. So people will say, but if you train supersets, you're exhausting the muscle, so you're getting more volume in a shorter period of time. But then the argument to that is, well, if you rested, you could lift more because you're not as tired. So when people say supersets are better, there's always an argument. There's no magic in it because, like I said, there's an argument for every scenario. 8 to 12 reps is the sweet spot. So we're talking about high rep, low weight, or low rep, high weight. 70 to 80% of your work should probably be done in that 8 to 12 rep range. So that's why that's the magic sort of hypertrophy range. If there's some exercises you want to get stronger in, e.g. your squat or your bench, you may sort of come just underneath that. You may go sort of 5 to 8 reps. Or if there's some exercises you want to get more volume in, you find it hard to go up in weight. So for example, the hamstring curl, when you sort of get to a decent level, it becomes a lot harder to up the weight. So you may just up the reps and go in at 12 to 15. I have been known to program reps of like 20 and 30 reps. Again, it's just about getting lots of extra volume in without doing too much damage in terms of injury. So progressive overload is the key, whatever way you do it. Either upping the weight, upping the reps, adding more sets, adding more volume into a short period of time. Progressive overload is the key, but progressive overload can also be done through form and time under tension. So if you get to, say, 20 kg for shoulder press for 8 reps, and you just think it's going to be too hard to up the weight or the reps, you can just focus making sure that form's perfect. Or what you can do is time under tension. Say you're banging them out like this, and you're going really quick. If you start slowing it down and come down 1 to 4 seconds, 4 seconds instead of 2 seconds, progressive overload, you've got more time under tension. And that's basically what progressive overload is. Any questions on any of this at any time? Supersets, low weight, getting stronger in an exercise, any question that pops into your head about training and weight training at all, please just stop me and ask me a question. I can see people on the call deep in thought, so just please just stop me and ask me any questions. You can do the same exercise twice in a week. So for example, I'll often program hip thrust twice a week for girls. There'll be some form of chest press twice a week for boys. Again, I'm being very, very stereotypical here. I'm probably not the most PC person in the world, but don't shoot me for it. But the idea is, if there's something you want to get stronger at, or there's something you really enjoy, don't be scared to put it in your training plan twice a week. If you think, do you know what, I really want to grow my upper chest, I'm going to hit incline bench press twice a week. Cool, do it. If you want to grow your glutes and you want to hip thrust twice a week, cool, do it. There's no right or wrong. You can do the same exercises twice in a week. If you hit a plateau, you can use different forms of progression. So rather than upping the weight or the reps, you can do sets, form, time under tension. As I said, there's also further progressions in terms of drop sets, rest pauses, etc., which I'll come on to. And then just make sure you've always got, across your training program, across the week, a squat, a hinge. So a hinge is like an RDL or a hip thrust, a push, which tends to be like a chest press exercise, a pull, which is for your back, a press, which tends to be your shoulders above head, and a lunge. So if you've got all of them exercises, you're covering every movement the body can do, which is fun. And it just means your body's moving as it should be. The extras are core work, e.g. a farmer's carry, a twist, and a plank. I'm not the biggest fan of Russian twists because you're making your stomach wider. I prefer to have a tighter core, but your body can twist, so you may do some sort of rotational work in there. But again, I would more go for kettlebell around the world rather than things like Russian twists. Do not overthink it. I know I've just gone into a lot of detail there. Pick the exercises you enjoy. So if you were to write down on a piece of paper now 6 to 8 exercises for each of your body parts that you enjoy, you can put that into almost any split you want. So if you write down 6 back exercises, I'll do 4 on that day, 2 on another day. You'll often hear people say back and buys or do chest and tries. In my last workout, I was doing quads and shoulders, and I was doing back and hamstrings. And then on the same day I was doing chest and back, I was just put everything together, which made sense to me. I wouldn't do back on one day and then back the next day. I would split out. So my last workout was chest and back on Monday, quads and shoulders, back and hamstrings, and then it was upper body. Random workout, but it worked well for me. On my new workout, as we discussed last week, I'm going into a 3-day weight training program, so I'll do full bodies. One day I'll be focused on sort of push exercises for full body, one will be pull exercises for full body, and then the final day will be a bit of both. And that allows me to do my 2 sort of high rock sessions as well. So these are the training progressions which we haven't spoken about. You wouldn't have seen them on ELIMIN8. I will run through them very, very quickly. But you can start adding all this sort of stuff into your workouts. And these are sort of things that show you that there's a next level to training. A back off set is basically something you do where you rest as normal and then you drop the weight by approximately 20-25% for the back off set. So for example, if you were doing leg press for 100 kg, you may do 2 sets of 8, then you'll rest as normal. And then on your third and final set, you do 75 kg for 15 reps. It doesn't have to be 8 and 15. It can be 6 and 12. It's just sort of almost double or a third above. Drop the weight by 25% and go for more reps. So therefore, you're getting your strength and your volume. A drop set is when you finish your third and final set, e.g. set 3 of 3 with no rest, drop the weight by 1 or 2 pegs. For example, if you're on the lat pull down, you're doing 30 kg, you may take it out of, lat pull down 35 kg. You may take it out, put it straight in the 30 and try and squeeze out an extra 4 or 5 reps. It's an extra way of getting extra volume in. So if 35 kg for 10 reps is your limit on the lat pull down, you can't go to 37.5. You can't go for 11 reps. What you would do is just take it out, put it in a lighter weight, and you've banged out 5 extra reps, which you weren't getting previously. Very similar to that is a rest pause. So for example, you do your third and final set, you'd rest 10-15 seconds, and then you try and go for more reps. So for example, 35 kg again for 10 reps, can't get any more out, rest 10 seconds, and then try and squeeze another few out. If you go past the 6 to 8 reps, you probably want to up the weight. If you're resting 10 seconds and you bang out another 10, the weight probably wasn't heavy enough for you in the first place. You've got things like an AMRAP, which isn't, you'll see this in HIIT workouts and circuits, which means as many rounds as possible. This means as many reps as possible. So I think some of you guys may have seen it on lunges. For example, let's say you're holding 10 kg in each hand for your lunges. You do your final set, you drop the weight, and then you go for as many reps as possible at body weight, or as you should have done on your final week. Let's say we think 3 sets of 8 for 20 kg shoulder press is our limit. What we may do on that third and final set, we'll be like, right, let's test it. Instead of going for 8, go for as many reps as you can. If you get 9 reps, 10 reps, or 11 reps, you're probably lifting in that 3 reps of reserve, which is probably where you should be. If you keep going and you get 13, 14, 15, 16 reps, you've not been lifting heavy enough, and therefore you should probably up the weight next time you do shoulder press. A muscle round is basically a cluster set. So you do like 6 sets of 4 reps with 15 seconds rest, or you do 5 sets of 5 reps with 10 to 15 second rest. You just get in the same volume you'd get for 3 sets of 8, just within a shorter time period. It's actually something I quite like to use for like a pump. You feel really good after that. Again, maybe something you would only do if you had experience lifting and you had experience training and putting programs together. That's probably one of the ones you wouldn't do by yourself. Back off sets, drop sets, rest pauses, all pretty easy. Muscle round is probably top level advanced. Again, a really easy one is if you want to get really strong in an exercise, you can just increase the weight weekly. So for example, if you have a goal of getting to 40 kg bench press, you may start at 30. You may go 30 this week, 32.5, 35, 37.5, 40. You should get to your goal. And you stay at 8 reps the whole time. So 8 reps, or it could be 9 reps, 10 reps. It doesn't make any difference. Or you do the opposite, where You go, for example, you may start 50 kg for 10 reps, then 55 for 9, 60 for 8. For example, if you're doing like squats or trap bar deadlift and you wanted to get really strong, different forms of progression. Again, then bottom 3 are probably for more experienced lifters and people that want to really sort of grow muscle and come out of a dieting phase. That's probably when you would implement them things. So there's me when I done my photo shoot in Dubai. I'm gonna in fairness, I don't think I rinse my photos enough on these calls. I've done a photo shoot for my marketing. I should plaster them everywhere, shouldn't I? I'm never gonna get in that shape again, so I might as well. Hopefully doing this in a few years' time when I look nothing like that and I'm still using them. So the training splits that we can do. I'm surprised no one rinsed me for saying actually don't do them that. Don't use them that often. The training splits that you can do tends to be if you're training 3 times a week, lower upper full body. Feel free to take photos of this, by the way, if you want to use it, or if anyone wants the slideshow after, or anyone wants a program post ELIMIN8, feel free to message me and I'll send you it all. But for
on that, Logan, cheeky question: can we keep the if we don't continue, can we still keep the format? You know, so we've got like how to do the reps and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't take anyone's stuff away from them. The only time I have done is when my storage was full and I had to delete some people. But you keep all your information. I'm not here like to take anything away from you.
So we could delete that and then use that again, or continue it down somehow. Or...
Yeah. Change the exercises if you want. So, for example, if it says squat and you want to go on Google and type in alternative exercise for squat, you can just type that in and change it to say leg press or trap bar deadlift, and then you can use the same format. But most programs I would do, Paco, would probably be about 12 weeks. I think 12-week programs are slightly better than 8-week like programs. You tend to see better results. But again, I'm working on a book, like an ebook, where I'm going to create a free 12-week program for people. Like I said at the start of the call, my money isn't sort of made in giving people programs. It's more like my time with the coaching and things like that. So if you do want programs, you can just message me and I'll often just put one in there for someone, like free of charge. Obviously, I shouldn't say that on this call, because if I've got 70 people messaging me asking me for a free program, it'll be a pain in the ass to set them up, if I'm being completely honest. But for most of you guys on the call, I often just give people free programs because, one, I'm working on a book to give free programs away anyway. Or what some people do is just give me like a heads up that they want one, and then I have a conversation with them on it. But yeah, you can keep it all, is what I'm saying. 3-day training plans, lower upper full tends to be a good one, because as I was discussing before, you hit your lower body twice by doing lower body and then your full body. You hit your upper body twice by doing upper and full. Or 3 times full body. 4-day training splits, lower upper full glutes, upper lower. Tends to be a good one for girls, tends to be a good one for people that like to do legs. Push-pull legs full body, or push-pull legs upper body. The guys that play sport, push-pull legs upper body. For guys that don't really run or do anything outside of the gym, you can hit legs twice a week and do full body. Or you can just make it up in any situation that suits you: back and biceps, chest and tries, legs, shoulders and arms. Do you know what I mean? There's no right or wrong. Like I said, I'm currently doing back and hamstrings, quads and shoulders. You just do what works for you. 5-day training splits, body part splits. That's the old school generation. That's a bit outdated now. Push-pull legs, upper lower tends to be the perfect split for 5-day workout splits. Putting it all together, you want to pick 4 to 6 exercises per muscle group. You want to split these over 2 to 3 days in a split you enjoy. You want to get a good variety in there, e.g. unilateral, bilateral. That basically means, for example, if you were doing seated row, it's bilateral. Unilateral is just using like a single arm dumbbell row. You want to hit different areas of the muscle, e.g. upper lower. So for example, we're talking chest, you want to do flat bench press, incline bench press. For girls doing glutes, you may do squats, and then you may do hip abductions, etc., etc. 70 to 80% of the work should be done in that 8 to 12 rep range. Few exercises should be done in the 4 to 6 and few in the 12 to 20. Compounds tend to be at lower rep range, e.g. you wouldn't go for 20 reps on your squats. You wouldn't be lifting heavy on your compounds. And then your lower rep range stuff is your isolation work, e.g. your leg extensions, your hamstring curls, sort of machine work, anywhere where you're targeting just one muscle. Add progressions where they make sense. E.g., if you want a stronger squat, step 3 sets of 8, increase the weight every week, or use back-off sets. Use drop sets and rest pauses on things like machines and cables. And that should all make sense. Any questions on workouts and programs and things like that? No. All good on that thing. So, like I said, we are coming to the last ELIMIN8 call. I will provide an update through video into the group next week. But remember, you're only 7 weeks into dieting. It's not a long time. I'm not going to go through all these points because I do it every week. Accountability will dip. I was going to change that from Christmas to summer. You are starting to see the biggest physical changes now. It is a lifestyle. It is not just a phase. So we need to focus on why we started this and keep all the habits that we've learned during ELIMIN8. Do you know what I mean? Like, focus on why you started it. These things of training, having a big weekend, getting on plan, that is the lifestyle now. Balancing weekends, going out, planning ahead. Yeah, try and make it work the best you can. I've got a wedding on Friday. Wedding's probably going to put me over my calorie targets, but what I'm going to do in the build up to the wedding, I'm going to eat a little bit lighter in the day. I'm going to stick to just protein and fiber, so e.g. yogurt and berries, or I'm going to have like an egg white omelette with chicken sausages and bacon. When I go to the wedding, I'm going to stick to one drink. I'm going to try to limit the amount I drink, and that's the best thing that I can do to put myself in that position. I could probably make it work for my maintenance amount if I put a bit more effort into it, which I may just do now. I've called myself out for it. So all these things that you've learned, remember, 49 days didn't get you out of shape. 49 days isn't going to get you in shape. It is a process of a period of years, months, weeks, whatever it may be. But it is a matter of doing the same thing consistently over time. There will be diet breaks, there'll be times you fuck up, but you just need to get back onto it and make it a lifestyle. So, as I was saying before, pre-plan, saying no from time to time won't kill you. Rather than always trying to go forwards and ending up going backwards, just focus on little progressions. Progression doesn't always mean weight loss. Progression may be going out and having a meal with your family that you've been nervous to do. Progression may be being able to track a meal in advance rather than completely writing off the weekend. Everybody's progression is different. But if you have a goal of weight loss or fat loss to make yourself happier, make sure you are the priority. Learn when to enjoy life. Like, I'm a big advocate of enjoying life, but learn when it's important. For example, just because it's Friday doesn't mean it's 10 pints. If you've got a weight loss goal, it's about finding that balance and striking that balance. So we're going for this week's challenge. It's all things ELIMIN8. So accountability is one of the biggest factors of success, and like for us, accountability comes in many forms. Not just me telling you to grind harder. Points we shared for just like anything that relates to ELIMIN8. Is it your meals? Is it out on a walk? Is it doing your workout? All the things that we've covered. Like, tag me, post me, final week of ELIMIN8. Some people share their progress. I know Christy shared hers yesterday. Thanks for doing that, Christy, because I've had about 30 messages off the back of it. So marketing done for the year. But it's all about what best, what does ELIMIN8 mean to you in terms of like, does ELIMIN8 hold you accountable for going out for steps? Is ELIMIN8 making you meal prep? Is ELIMIN8 making sure you stick to your workouts because you've got structure? What is ELIMIN8 doing for you? Because it helps me sort of with the presentations next time. Because if you go and post out doing your steps, even though it's raining because Eliminate's made you do it, cool. Very similar to some of the ones we've done. If Eliminate for you got you to the point where you got to because of what the targets were, I want to know that. So whether you do a post in the group or do some stuff on social media, just let me know, because it does help going forward. And that is it. Any questions for me on anything Eliminate? Remember, this is the last Eliminate call. So please ask me a question if you have one on anything, not just on programming, nutrition, accountability, structure, booking in a call, anything at all, before I wrap up.
Logan, I've got one. So just on, obviously everything we've been doing is cutting down weight.
Mm-hmm.
So is maintenance, would we know our maintenance calories now?
No, so maintenance, again, it's very similar to what we do in terms of like we track it and we check. Do you know what I mean? So week 9 and week 10, calories are gonna be, it's very like building you into your maintenance. Like week 10 calories are quite high. They would be most people's maintenance. So week 9 would probably be slightly under people's maintenance, but and give them a good position. Being week 10 would be probably in and around people's perfect maintenance weight. But that's for mainly people that don't want to lose any more weight or have a diet break, etc., and don't basically ever go over during the week or over the weekend. So I like to personally sit just under maintenance amount. But again, we won't know. I've got like your maintenance tends to be treble your body weight with a 0 added on. So if you're 70 kilos, your maintenance would be 7, 14, 21 add a 0 on, or 70, 140, 210 add a 0 on. 2,100 calories would be in and around your maintenance, with double your body weight in protein. So if you aim for 150 calories with 150 grams of protein, 2,100 calories, it's probably a good start for your maintenance. Obviously, you don't mind me saying, you're coming to do the photo shoot, so I will coach you to your maintenance anyway. So don't worry about that. But for everyone else, and for the best part of it, it will be trial it, give it a go. What I do with my one-to-one clients is, off the back of a diet, I'll always add, depending on where they are. Girls tends to be, because you tend to be lighter, I'll add 300 calories to your current amount. Then I'll just increase it by 100 calories through 20 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fat, till your weight sort of balances out. Guys, I'll start with maybe 300 to 400 calories added, and then again, just increase it by 100 calories a go until maintenance from your diet amount. Does that make sense, Pac? Cool. Any questions from anyone else? No? Well, obviously, I hope you guys have enjoyed Eliminate so far. I'm not saying goodbye, because we still have another week of progress to be made. It is important, and I have said to people, make sure you get a good full update this week. Questions asked, comments asked in the comments, progress pictures in if you can, because it allows me to sort of say, right, do this going forward. So thank you for tonight's call. Speak to you guys through the week. Any questions, just ask.
Thanks, Logan. Cheers.
Right, cheers, guys.
Thanks, Logan. Bye.
You want me to do this?